Next, I'm going to talk to David, who's calling in from North Carolina. David, you got personal beef with me. It says that you want to respond to something I said on Twitter, which is interesting. What do you got for us, David?
Hey, Richard, subjectively Don. It's good to talk to you guys.
You guys and your subjectively Don jokes. It'll never end, will it? It'll never end. I'll always be subjectively Don. Anyway, I'm doing all right, David. How you doing?
Wonderful. It's been a happy Friday. Got that post-nut clarity. I'm feeling really good right now.
Wow, holy shit, that is too much information. But I appreciate
you're
your
welcome.
honesty. Yeah, thanks for that. What's up, David? What do you want to talk to us about?
Okay, the idea was, and I kind of half agree. So I'm on the fence about it. That the country, I guess, couldn't come together. Like we'd have to give the backstory, and if you could, for the people to understand what we're talking about. The claim was, we couldn't even agree that Alex Jones deserves prison time. Correct?
Yes. For context, I think it was, did I say this today or yesterday? Time is a construct. I don't know. I made a tweet on Twitter saying we as a country can't, I'm paraphrasing my own tweet here, but we can't even agree that Alex Jones deserves prison time. The reason why I said this is because I was just reading the comments on Twitter of all of the news articles talking about the recent Alex Jones stuff. And there's still people who are like, I don't know. I think they're treating this Alex Jones guy a little too harshly, and sort of people who are kind of pro Jones, which is like, again, I spent 20 minutes in the first half of the show talking about this guy and why you should not like him. But I understand most people don't know that. They just know about the couple things that people claim he's right on and maybe support him. But he's a really bad guy. I think if anybody deserves prison time, and I'm not a fan of the prison industrial complex, but if anybody, deserves a punishment, I guess, like, I think Alex Jones is the guy. I don't know. Like, he's did bad things. Families were like tortured for days on end by people who are randomly harassing them for years, and it's still happening. So I don't feel bad for him for that and all the other stuff he's done. Anyway, so that's my take on it, David. You say you agree, but you also disagree. So what does that mean?
Well, thank you, because it is, I guess, not even a morality crime anymore. And I'm sorry I missed the first half of the show. I was busy. I was preoccupied.
Oh yeah, David. You're gonna go back to this show, and you're gonna realize how much time I spent to Alex Jones today. It was a lot. It was a lot. So
preoccupied. Richard, what's your take, man? Can I hear it?
What's my take? What is a specific claim? What? Because again, you'll have missed this with being.
I said Alex Jones deserves prison time. I think that's the claim. I think, or whether or not you agree with that. I know but see, Richard, you literally just knew about this guy from me telling you. So I don't know if you're. I don't know.
If he's got a bias source. He's got a.
I don't have a background on him. David, do you consider it correct that Alex Jones inspired people to go and harass families who lost their children in these attacks? Do you agree? Do you think that's true?
Not.
Why not?
The next level up, where I do agree that my man should be in prison. He's not my man. I agree that Alex Jones should be in prison. But the idea that we can't all agree on it as a country, I don't agree with. I think that at the moment, we definitely don't agree on it as the country because my man is a pseudo cult leader. But I feel I have the hope. I want to put that in quotes there because it's a reasonable hope, based on evidence that if we could talk with everyone who does not agree, that eventually minds could be changed. I understand that it's very polarized at the moment, and there's what's a good way to phrase this? Alex Jones stands, right? If people like hardcore trying to see him.
But I think that's a bit different from what we're talking about, right? Because I'm saying that people can't agree right now. And ostensibly, I think you actually agree with that because you're saying, yes, we have to convince people, but I think we can convince people. But if you're saying we have to convince people, then I think I'm still right in saying that we can't all agree with that right now. But regardless of that point, 6 million visitors a month on a website is a lot of people, and that's just the people who actively follow him, right? Like that's a lot of people. I used to be of the mind, David, that if we just talk to people enough, like we can eventually change people's minds and we can do anything. I don't think I believe that anymore, honestly. And that's just a personal take on human psychology. But I think there's some people who are so deeply entrenched in their beliefs that nothing you can do through reason is going to change their mind. I mean, hell, look at Alex Jones himself, right? Guy's been doing this for over 20 years and he's still on it. And he still thinks that this Sandy Hook stuff was fake. And he said that, and he's the guy that's getting in trouble for all this. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we can have a rational discourse with everybody. I mean, I'm going to try. Don't get me wrong. I will always do my best, even with people who I think are just so on the other side of the extreme, only because I was on the other side. I wasn't an extremist, but I definitely had some beliefs that needed challenging. And because somebody took the time out of their day to have a conversation with me, that was a stepping stone in a process that helped me become the person that I am today. So I do fully believe in people having conversations and doing the best that they can. But I don't know. I don't know if everybody can come to that, man. I'm skeptical of that. What do you think, David?
So here we go. Yes, we do agree then. So then we're on to a different claim. I agree that at the moment, not everyone can agree.
Yeah.
And now we're on to, I guess I just want to encourage everybody. Hopefully the sound of my very voice will continue that. This is an ongoing thing, that we're striving for a higher epistemological standard here in America. And
Yeah.
it is sad to face these indoctrinations that we're going up against.
Yeah, these
shout out to
conversations
Anthony
are,
Magabasco.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Go ahead, Richard.
yeah, these conversations are very important, David, and that's how we get to, if it's possible to change people's minds. That's how we get to do it, by having these conversations, and they can be like Antoinette and Dan, and I'm assuming yourself have these conversations with people as well. You don't have to come on air to do it, and talking to people and who have opposing views, and just having those conversations can go a long way to start to change someone's mind. We don't have to do it at a click of a finger. We don't
Yeah.
have to be that person that it instigates that that momentary release of all that bad thinking and suddenly change the mind. But we can plant seeds and set things into motion. And having those conversations is a very important step to doing that.
Yep. It's very true.
Moment by
Very
moment.
true.
Don't know how else
Moment-
to say it. Moment by moment. That's all we can do.
Yeah. I mean, we can all, we could set up a course and try to train a bunch of people and having conversations with people. And of course, I've participated in the education of doing said courses. I've talked about street epistemology at conferences and also on this show all the time. But I'm just one person. I mean, I try to do my best and I do what I can with folks, but it takes a lot of time to learn how to do critical thinking, something I'm still learning every day, as well as figure out what's fact from fiction about the history of even just the events that we're talking about right now. I mean, there's some people that will even still dispute that Jones never even talked about the Sandy Hook stuff, or at least never claimed that it was a false flag. Jones said that himself. Originally, I believe, when talking about the deposition, he was like, no, that's like edited footage. Like he didn't actually say that, but of course he did. So I don't know. There's a lot of people that
Do you guys have a favorite quote from the judge? You've obviously watched the civil
Oh, my
trial
goodness.
that's going on. I absolutely love the judge.
Let me tell you, I like that the judge had to actually tell this man to close his mouth, because somebody quoted that on Twitter. They were like, I don't want to see the inside of your mouth. And somebody was like, oh, wow, that judge is talking about, man, that judge doesn't sound very fair. That sounds pretty biased in the way that he's speaking to him. And somebody was correcting them and being
Like,
like,
what?
no, the judge is literally telling him to close his mouth because he's opening it for it to show that he doesn't have gum in it. And he's just massaging like a root canal he had or something. Like, it's just wild. It's crazy. It is absolutely madness. I recommend looking up clips of this case because it'll entertain you, that's for sure. But man, what our court system has really become new reality television for us, hasn't it? I mean, it's been like that for like a few decades now, but This especially is really crazy. Anyway, David, I gotta let you go. We gotta take at least one more call here, I think, before the end. But I do appreciate your call and your perspective. And I'm glad you
Okay.
responded to my Twitter. That means somebody's following me on there, so that's good.